On display here with the Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. You'll know a few of these guys. You're in your element here.
I am. I'm a Scottish Exile. Perhaps not talented enough to be on the pitch, but they actually came out of the Hong Kong Barbarians, which came the Hong Kong Scottish Barbarians, which when back in the day I was the organising Hong Kong Barbarians, and they've been long-standing players here and they've done well. So they're going to kick off, and I shall be totally unbiased in my commentary.
I'm sure you will.
Actually, the overseas old boys have been great supporters of the tournament, Gordon, for years. And they beat Scottish quite comprehensively earlier on.
Well, Moses getting an early touch for the Exiles. And what a fabulous crowd we have here. Strong work by James Phillips. Just looking at the squad, there are 10 locals of the 18 members, yes. Which is fantastic.
No, that's it. But and obviously the Scottish Exiles are mainly Hong Kong Scottish, but we've got one or two from the Scottish Islands in the South Pacific playing for us as well. Highlands and Island Select, as we like to call it. Yes.
So the old boys.
This is good though from from Scottish Exiles' point of view, because in the last game against this team they were on the back foot very early on and having some pressure on.
Making heavy weather of it at the moment.
They've got some really good strike runners, this overseas old boys team. Streamline Sports overseas to get the sponsorship right.
Well, Darryl William is the 14th man for the USA Sevens team here in Hong Kong, and there he is on the left-hand side there in the pink jumper, and he's the quickest man in the whole tournament. Don't worry about that.
He does look very, very quick, doesn't he? Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't get the ball in any space. Well, sorry, Hong Kong Scottish Exiles.
Yes.
Hope that.
We are very objective here, of course, aren't we? Harrison King into the line-out.
It's a good ball.
Tom Wilson with a nice clearance. Out wide is Momo.
Oh, that's a kick, yeah. Unfortunately kicked out the rock. Really accidental, but it is a penalty.
Tom Momo has had a, I should say, Tom Wilson has had a very good tournament.
Yeah, and a great haircut.
Yeah. You're just jealous, are you?
Yeah, I am. I think they were all revealing yesterday that he's naturally a ginger, but he's too ashamed of it. He shaved it all off.
So this is the plate final. Nice jump there by Kumbu.
That's it. A lot of pressure on the defence. Lovely little kick.
Oh.
And Scotty, that's a great result from the kick, and he'll look to go quickly here.
And Wilson tries to, but the defence is up very quickly.
His teammates need to be a bit more alert, Gordon.
He didn't have anyone to pass there, did he? Bit of space out wide now. This is Moses. And wasted ball.
That was
It's been a sluggish start by both teams.
Back for the knock-on for the advantage, I think. Yeah, it was a wasted opportunity from the Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. I think in particular when Tom Wilson took the quick tap, his players around about have had to be much sharper.
Well, this standard here in 2024 has been absolutely outstanding.
The brains trust the Taikoo Scottish Exiles there. Alex Allen, former Scottish prop, trying to work out when he's making his substitutes or replacements.
He hasn't packed in too many scrums, has he?
No, he used to be. He was a prop, but he actually put himself on the tournament last year. Obviously for his long-lasting athleticism.
Big scrum there from the Exiles.
But well, Taikoo.
And the ball knocked on.
There's some real wheels in this overseas boys.
Trouble here for Jacques and Moses. and he was isolated, so there are plenty of men there.
I would have to say that, yeah, he was isolated, but I'd have to say that the overseas overs came in from the wrong side, the second player. That's great pace.
Fuller only metres short of the line.
And a great turnover in defence from number 6, Rue Campbell, for the Scottish Exiles.
Referee for this match is Callum Robertson. And now it's with the captain.
Crowd making themselves heard for the first time today. Chants of Scottish from the corner on the member side of the stadium.
Yes, a well-oiled chant it is too, by the sound of it. They're slurring a little.
Yeah.
Now chance for the midfield, and that's a pretty effective kick because he's found open space, and it's a good chase. Gain of about 40 metres.
Yeah, the overseas boy just slipped when he tried to get in. They've done well to keep it here.
Again, trying to probe for space. Here's an opportunity for...
Flicked out the back of his hand, but all he did was put his own player under huge pressure.
And Munro clears in the last line. So what, we've had 6.5 minutes of play, still no score. And
yeah, it's 6.5 minutes, and I think if you're the Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles coach, you're a lot happier there than you were in yesterday's game, where they never really get into the game against overseas All Boys. So it's just whether they can sustain this pressure.
Yeah, they lost that match by 15-5, but they've stuck to their guns and they've played well today. Strong running there by Lewis Bird. And there's another probing kick, and the chase is on. Has he got the legs? I think he has. Beautiful work by Rubeni Kambu.
Rubeni Kambu, as I say, one of our Highlands and Islands select. Absolutely great score. Lovely kick from Tom Wilson. Saw the space, put it through. 5-0, Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles.
Well, his football brain has really shone through in this tournament for mine. Tom Wilson, the captain, he knows where the space is, and that their kicking game has been actually very good, hasn't it, in this game so far?
Yeah, has been. I had a word with Tom Wilson yesterday because I felt in the first game that they won, they seemed to kick an awful lot of ball away, and they'd come out with a game plan. He said in the first day that from their own inside their own 22 they would just kick long and pressurise. I think the game's evolved a little bit since then. They played a bit more, but yeah, that was a great attacking kick.
And they kicked away from the opposition players as well.
The conversion was unsuccessful.
So Rubeni Kambu, the 27-year-old formerly from Northland in New Zealand. Five points to 0 in favour of the Exiles. Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. The rugby club was formed in 2011.
Turnover to Scottish Exiles. Kambu on the outside.
Here he goes again. Can they stop him? Well, some desperate defence. And already he's a danger man. Showing how elusive he is when he gets a bit of time and space. So it's 10 minutes each way. 10 players per side. Rolling substitutions are allowed. You can make them once in each half and also at half time. And what we've seen in this tournament is sometimes 6 and 7.
Well, it's just reset, which is good to see because referees have been penalising teams for going round the corner. And there was nothing illegal from either team there. It just swung round.
Yeah, certainly a good shunt on from Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. They've also formed the Hong Kong Scottish Foundation.
Yes, it's Hong Kong Scottish. The club was formed about 11 years ago at Gordon, and it's taken this long to actually to get charitable status for the foundation.
Right.
But they do a lot of other stuff. That's really good.
Nice dummy, which has created some chance
here.
2 on 1. And the less said about the pass, the better. What a shame.
They seem to have blown it just a couple of seconds early for half time, but I don't think any player will be complaining. 5-0, Taikoo Place, Scottish Exiles. Well worth it at the moment, but I have to say, Gordon, overseas old boys have not had the ball. And when they've got the ball, they've looked really good in the last 2 days. So
they certainly have looked good, and that's the key. I think they were very disappointed to just lose narrowly in their quarter-final. Yeah. They had their eyes set on the cup competition, and they've certainly had some very good moments in the tournament to date.
Yeah, I think so. I think realistically throughout the tournament, this final was the best that Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles would really have aimed at.
Yep.
Whereas I think overseas old boys just maybe came with slightly higher ambitions than a couple of but it was a good game of rugby.
Yeah, they came up against a red-hot Shogun side in that quarter-final.
I'll be taking a break during the women's final, which you're doing with Kim.
Yes.
And then we'll be back for the men's final, which I think will be a humdinger.
Will be a cracker.
Humdinger,
yes.
Yeah.
A bit of an Australian-New Zealand flavour.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can find a Scotsman in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think of it. Yeah. I think the Pig Barbarians making the final is just nice. New team in the tournament, just gives it a bit of flavour. Obviously, the Shogun. They'll come when they've got long experience of this kind of tournament, so we'll see how it goes.
Shogun were the beaten grand finalists last year as Samurai. They went down to YCAC, Tradition YCAC, who they beat in the semi-final here when YCAC had the game well and truly in their keeping and made a horrible mistake right at the end, most unfortunate. And the opposition were able to score.
Staying in the game was the thing for Shogun, but exactly, yeah. That's a great clearing kick, actually. Just get back, way back into the crowd, can't take it quickly. Oh, past the 10 metre. Oh no, sorry, line. The assistant referee's got them back to nearly halfway. Still a great clearance, but platform for overseas old boys to attack from. Their ball, their throw in.
Dylan McCann.
An overthrow, that's been prevalent throughout this tournament. Number of overthrows from the attacking team.
They have to release him once his knee's on the ground. And now it's a matter of holding onto the ball.
It's Rubeni again, just showing the physicality of the South Seas.
Some high stepping. Momo managed to offload. And they're keeping the ball alive here. Harrison King. Out wide is Campbell, and they won't stop Campbell from there. Rue Campbell does it.
And he stepped inside to get closer.
A hint of a sidestep.
Hint of the side there. I don't think the McDonald's in the world will be too happy. I'm never sure about these Campbells. He's actually played great through this tournament. He's been really good. Won them some turnovers, been really physical, and even these 2 yards he stepped inside at the end, just make it a bit easier for the conversion. Could be critical late in this game.
Well, that's been a feature of his game, hasn't it? His hard straight running.
Yeah.
And he's been running into gaps.
Yeah. Set up in the midfield by the Rubeni Kabu. That carry in the midfield, though, just put the overseas old boys on the back foot, and the conversion is not good. So it remains overseas Streamline Sports overseas old boys 0, Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles 10. 8 minutes to go.
And again, some good clearance from Harrison King, and the wide pass out there. Still a bit of work to do. So it's time for old boys to get their game together here. They've played every Hong Kong Football Club 10 since 2003. They won the plate in 2016. So they'd love to repeat it here this evening in 2024. They were beaten in the Cup semi-final last year by Samurai. And there's an opportunity here. The man with that blue headgear.
Brilliantly executed 2-1 there from overseas old boys. Number 11,
Tom Ruhiu.
Tommy Ruhiu, who's nicknamed Tommy, something to do with super fast boots. You hear it, he's quick.
And he's only 18 years of age.
He plays locally.
Yep. So great to see these young guys getting their opportunity.
Scottish, a couple of walking wounded coming off the park there, substitutes taking on. And the kick-off is gathered by Taikoo plays Scottish Exiles.
So it's a fascinating game now.
All to play for.
6.5 minutes remaining.
Great straight carry again though, just to set up the next phase. Scottish just holding on to that ball there.
Well, that one's rolling end over end.
They need the chasers in a line there. They're a bit disjointed, the chase.
Broomfield moved it into space. Good charge by Le Tawa. This is Le Lua.
That's a penalty overseas old boys. This is the momentum shift we were talking about, Gordon. This is when Scottish Taikoo play Scottish Exiles just got to dig in.
Yeah, the Exiles have just fallen into a flat spot at the moment. And
a couple of penalty decisions just puts you in the back foot.
So A-Trade old boys. They have this great tradition of playing local players as well, the old boys, and promising youngsters. Let's see what these big men out wide can do.
Penalty again to overseas old boys. Just front football all the time at the moment.
Hasn't been much opportunity for Daryl William.
I think that's another penalty advantage we're playing.
Oh, some soccer skills. Oh. Oh no. Well, that was remarkable there. It was
an offside
more like
penalty. Yeah.
More like a game at Tottenham Stadium. A wicked bounce of the ball.
Maybe he was brought down by the player behind him. But anyway, it's back for a penalty advantage anyway.
Again, Tom Wilson saved the day in the last line.
This is scrum called Taikoo plays. This is just a critical phase of the game, because if old boys score, it's not going to be an awful lot of time left. So they really want to dig in their defence here.
And we've got 4 substitutions coming on, maybe even 5. And the speedster Daryl Williams coming off, so yeah, he's had no opportunity.
They're attacking scrum. I think they might just have loaded up the big boys to try and win the scrum here. Even go for the penalty. Well, they've called a penalty system, but just keep the pressure on.
Well, we've seen some timely substitutions at crucial stages in these big games, the pointy end games. Short pass, but again, some very good defence.
Great tackle and great counter ruck from Scottish.
Yeah, there's a brilliant counter ruck there from Lewisburg.
Who's number 4?
And the penalty goes for the Exiles.
That was a great bit of defence.
Will that prove to be a real turning point in the game? Because certainly old boys were looking very threatening.
Fresh legs on for Taikoo play Scottish Exiles. all about their structure now. They've just got to win this line out and play some phase rugby. 2.5 minutes to go.
10-7 in favour of the Exiles on the left.
And taking off Tom Wilson there, who really controls the game for Taikoo's play Scottish Exiles. Through Ed, that's a penalty. That's a...
Well, I think we saw a punch throw in there. That was unnecessary. The man
sensibly, somebody held back the players off the bench that went to walk on the pitch there. It's all calmed down.
I think, was it Ewan McCurdy seemed to cop one there, and that's when it really erupted. But let's see if the officials, the tackle was high. It's number 11, Ewan McCurdy.
It looks a bit like number 12 from Overseas Old Boys was a bit guilty there, but I think he was provoked slightly. I think some muck was thrown at him. There's 2 number 12s in Overseas Old Boys, by the way.
So
Big Tony and Wee Tony.
Tony Lambo. Yeah. It wasn't a punch, it was just a palm.
Nice to see that they were just played on.
Yeah. So we're inside the last minute in this plate final, and Taikoo play Scottish Exiles, holding on. Secure line-out ball. That's Merv Lowe.
Plays second team rugby for local team. What was the Tigers?
Cambu made a great 10-metre burst there. He's been a very influential player for Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. They're running the clock down now. There's 9 seconds to go.
They need to be a bit more positive than this. They'll get turned over.
Well, they're looking at the clock, I think. Can they get a turnover? Leave the halfback alone. Time's up on the clock. They have only got to kick it out. And there it is. The referee says that's it.
Well, great final, Gordon. And I mean, I think Overseas Old Boys will be quite disappointed because they were quite dominant against Scottish Exiles yesterday. You know, the bounce of the ball in this game. They just never quite got it early on. And Taikoo play Scottish Exiles. They've got to be very pleased. I think particularly with the bench they brought on for the last 3 minutes. They took off some of their key players and brought on the fresh legs, and they did very well.
Well, it was a gamble there to replace Tom Wilson, but the Exiles held together, didn't they?
Yeah,
and
a lot of them
they showed a lot of heart.
The ones that don't play together are the real superstars. A couple of they brought in some X-Factor players, and they did add to it.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, so really good.
So there is the plate going to Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles. And John, you're a very happy man. That grin's almost spread right across the commentary box.
Yep.
But that was a very courageous victory there, and nothing in it really.
No, nothing in it. I mean, to tell the truth, one facet of this 10 that is different, maybe it's because there are fewer teams, is in the first day you used to always get some huge score lines.
Yes. And
then it tightened up with once the seedings. There haven't really been many blowout games at all in this tournament. So everything's been competitive, which is great to watch. I'm going to hand this over to Kim for the ladies' cup final, which we'll be doing, and I'll be back with you for the men's.
And it's an all-China affair. So, yes. Well, we saw a magnificent cup semi-final, and it was YCAC, Tradition YCAC, from Tokyo, the Yokohama Country and Athletic Club, going down at the death in an amazing outcome to Shogun RFC. And now we are ready, Kim, for the all-China showdown.
Oh, it's going to be a fun affair. What's really interesting to me, this was actually the opening game for these two teams. And Shandong Rugby lost 10-22 to China Five Stars. So China Five Stars But I do feel like Shandong Rugby, particularly today, and the earlier games I saw of them today, have just looked so on fire. And I feel like they could edge it this time. So I think we're in for like a great final.
It's very interesting speaking to Sir Gordon Titchens, he's now the director of coaches and sevens in China, and he's looking at a few of the players in the Shandong team tonight. They're looking at them right through the tournament, actually, and there's three young ladies, they're only teenagers, who could well be added to the national sevens team in China. So this is the beauty of this tournament. This Shandong Rugby Club provincial team, they come here and they've unearthed some real stars.
Yeah, it provides such a great opportunity for players to show off their skills, but also their rugby brains, what they bring to a team on a high platform. They're playing players of experience, players that are in setups, whether it be in Australia and a New Zealand setup, in the UK, you've got such an array of players and styles of rugby. So fantastic for young players, as you said, to be able to put their hands up and people to take notice. China
So
Five Stars, of course, is the development team that's come through.
So presentation of the medallions, the official presentation by the chair of the Hong Kong China Rugby Union, Chris Brook, on the left there.
Scottish Exiles beaming as they should. They've certainly played some exciting rugby in the last 2 days.
Yes, we're looking through their performances, the Scottish Exiles. They won their first game against Murad Apache, and then they lost to Sports Old Boys by 15-5, and they had a 17-all draw with Hong Kong Football Club, the Tixis.
That was
the last match
that
last
was the
night.
last match of the game. I was here. It was one of the most exciting matches we've seen over these 2 days of rugby. And they got to have a little redo with Hong Kong Football Club today. Although, of course, they did go down to Shogun 29-7 in the men's cup quarterfinal.
29-7, yeah. And then in the plate semi-final, they downed the Jiangsu Lions by 24-12. And that was an important victory for them. And I must say the Lions did impress the Jiangsu Lions right through this tournament. They're a side that are going to only improve, and they would have gained a lot of experience from this outing. But well done to the Taikoo Place Scottish Exiles, with 10 local players in the team, a couple of Fijian 7 stars, and also there in the background is Brad Hemapo. You can just see him there in the middle, right in the back. He is from the Brothers Club in Brisbane. We'll just see if we can pick him out. There he is with the sleeveless singlet on at the back there, the big man in the middle. Formerly of Canterbury, he played with some of the great All Blacks, Dan Carter, Richie McCaw, and he's recently won the Australian Club Championship for Brothers when they downed Randwick. And of course, Brothers beat Wests in the grand final in Brisbane last year. There he is on the right-hand side, and he's a very popular figure, and he's a maths, science and PE teacher at Nudgee College. And one of his pupils from last year was in this squad here today, only 18 years of age, Ollie Clark. So that's a great story.
It's an awesome story. Big smiles around there from Scottish Exiles. Of course, overseas Old Boys themselves have had a wonderful tournament.
Consolation then for the Old Boys.
Yeah, a few disappointed faces there, but really done well these last 2 days as well. It's a tough tournament. This Hong Kong Football Club Tradition 10s. Today has been a day full of playoff rugby. No second chances.
And they've certainly got a good sprinkling of New Zealanders in their side. Vartambua from Waitemata. Just looking down the list, Tom Uhiu is a Kiwi, and also Luca Fuller, only 19 years of age, played for the New Zealand Maori Sevens team, and Jack Barnes from the Crusaders Academy. So Pisi Lelua from Northland in New Zealand, and Thomas Davery, another Crusader who's with the Crusaders Academy. So good to see all those young players getting the opportunity, and this is a very high standard competition. This is probably the highest standard of Tens rugby we've seen so far in Hong Kong this year.
Yeah, this tournament's been going for many a year. It's the second year that we've had a women's section in as well, which has been absolutely fantastic. We've had 8 women's teams compete. There's only 2 left standing, Shandong Rugby Club and China 5 Stars, both teams from China, which I think just really speaks into the development of Chinese rugby.
Yes, looking at the